Oh, it's the Citadel Gray Line back with you. John Rawls, my name. There I am on the right. I'm joined by Thomas Scruggs, the guy in the middle. And no, that's not Andrew Miller there in the middle. That's Colonel Reb. That is a picture from this past weekend in the Grove on the campus of the University of Mississippi as the Rebels down the Citadel Bulldogs 49-0. We've got more photos, more fun to show, but just thought we would show a little bit of the fun had. A party in the SIP last weekend. John Rawl is who you're looking at right now. There I am. Glad to have you back here on Citadel Gray Line. If you'd like to be involved with the show, 843-779-8496, 843-779-8496. I'll be having Thomas Scruggs, the guy that you just saw in that picture, not Colonel Reb, the other guy, here in a second. We also have Andrew Miller of the Charleston Post and Courier. We also have joining us in just a few minutes a special guest from the class of 1994, Michael Flintom, a former Bulldog football player, as he calls himself, the shortest wide receiver in the history of the Citadel. I don't have a measuring stick. I can't prove that, but we're going to have Michael join us to tell us about what he's been doing professionally, what he did for Charlie Taft, but also what he and others do each August for the Brigadier Foundation. They put on a very good golf benefit out at Wild Dunes, and he wants you to go ahead and sign up for the 2026 edition of that. Michael will be coming on in just a few to tell us all about this. This show is presented in part right there, across the top, by IPS Packaging and Automation. iPack.com is the website. You know, this is a family-owned business that's been doing great work for a long time based in the South Carolina upstate. IPS Packaging and Automation, they offer a great chance if you own a business to help with packaging products, automation equipment, and top-notch service. IPS Packaging and Automation, they do a great job in the processes of countless businesses and manufacturing facilities all over America. And they've been supporting Bulldog athletics for a very long time, for more than a decade. Discover what IPS Packaging and Automation, a Citadel-led company, can do for you. Go to the website ipack.com or go to the phone and pick it up and call 800-277-7007, 800-277-7007. IPS Packaging and Automation is a proud supporter of Citadel Athletics, and the Bulldogs get great coverage from the Post and Courier, and Andrew Miller is the Post and Courier's Bulldog scribe. Hello, welcome into the show, Andrew.
Always good to be here, John.
Sorry you didn't make it to the Grove.
Yeah, I think I said that last week. I've never been to a game at Ole Miss, and certainly that's one of the things that I would like to correct maybe later on here and get down there to see a game. I know the Grove is one of the places to be on a Saturday in the fall. I've been to LSU for a night game, and that's about as good an atmosphere as I've ever been. But I hear the Ole Miss atmosphere is just as good. So one day I got to get down there, no doubt.
Well, at Vaught-Hemingway, you're probably not going to get hit by a whiskey bottle like you would there at Death Valley, Louisiana, that is, Death Valley. But, yeah, you ought to check it out sometime, Andrew. Thomas Miller checked it out. Or Thomas Scruggs. That's the combination of Thomas and Andrew in case y'all ever want to merge. Thomas Scruggs, how was your Grove experience this past week besides hanging out with me?
John, it was outstanding. Once again, I believe this was our third trip to Oxford this fall. A lot of Citadel Blue in town. I was glad to see that. The unofficial tailgate started Thursday evening around 5 o'clock at the library and continued well into Saturday evening. Great time had by all Citadel folks, with the exception of the football game in the Grove.
And that wasn't, let's be honest, that wasn't as bad as it could have been. In fact, I looked it up. Georgia State got demolished more by the now number 7 Ole Miss Rebel football team than even the Citadel. So I'll take the 49-0 if I have to.
Yeah, we covered the spread. I mean, we covered the spread. For a minute there, I thought maybe Mike Shula had been resurrected as an offensive coordinator and was helping out the coach over there on the sideline based on the play calls. But no, I mean, I think we all kind of expected this result. But again, like you said, we did cover the spread last year. I think we mentioned this last week. They beat Furman 76-0. So it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, and you mentioned some of the activities besides what happened in the stadium Saturday. Well, Thursday was an unofficial gathering at the library, the most famous sports bar, if you will, in Oxford. But on Friday evening, there's Thomas and I again. You know, we're kind of getting famous, Thomas, you and I. That was a party we had for Citadel folks coming into town Friday at the Velvet Ditch on the Oxford Square, and there you and I representing El Cid proudly with Big Red flying in the background. We probably had 50 to 60 Citadel people stop by on that Friday evening, and a great time had by all. That's where I had a chance to meet our upcoming guest, Michael Flintom, there on the Oxford Square Friday evening. So a very good, perfect evening. And I really want to thank Jared Foster, owner of the Velvet Ditch, for letting us go in there and chill out both on Friday and Saturday. And I saw a lot of people, before we get into the actual, the supposed stuff we're supposed to do on the show, talking about sports. I saw a lot of Citadel people, more than I expected here this past weekend. And I had probably 13 classmates from the class of 93 show up. I have some great pictures of us with a house rented near the stadium that we all got together Friday night. I was very impressed by all the classes. Even, Thomas, you don't even know this, late into the morning on Sunday, I was out till probably at least 1:30 after the game Sunday morning, and I ran into a couple of Citadel cadets, sophomores, and they needed a ride back to their house they rented, and I gave them a ride. I did not hit pillow until about 3 a.m. Sunday morning, and I skipped church. Lord forgive me. But it was nice to be a knob shuttle again.
So, John, way to put out for El Cid. That's outstanding.
Yeah, and those guys had a great time, those handful of cadets. Wish I'd have seen more in uniform, but, I guess I can't be too picky. Andrew, the Citadel sure looked good in their Citadel uniforms out there on the field at least. I know the score didn't turn out, but look, I think the leading rusher for Ole Miss, I forgot his name, I think he got around 50 yards in this game. I know they had over 600 total yards, but I kind of thought that Lane Kiffin kept the foot off the gas in some ways in this game.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but the two most important things that came out of that game, one, and most important of all, is that the Citadel came out of it basically injury-free. So they got everybody available, healthy as you can be this late in the season, going into the final two games against Wofford and East Tennessee State. And I think that's the most important thing. Then the other most important thing is they got to pick up that $500,000 check for playing the Ole Miss Rebels. And then they got on a plane. Everybody landed safely at home. So those are the most important things. Defensively, I thought, I understood their philosophy, bend but don't break. They didn't think that Ole Miss would be patient enough to be able to execute, dink and dunk, whatever you want to call it, down the field. And to their credit, to Ole Miss's credit, they were patient enough. And Trinidad Chambliss, I thought, had a really, really good game. I know there were probably some Bulldog fans who wanted to see him maybe blitz a little bit more, maybe put a little bit more pressure on him. But, you got to pick your poison in those situations. And, again, came out of it healthy, heading into these last two Southern Conference games, a chance to have a winning record in the Southern Conference and then a 500 record overall, which I think are really good accomplishments for this team, especially considering the schedule that they played out of conference, being Ole Miss, number 7 team in the country in the FBS level, and then North Dakota State, who's just demolishing everybody on their schedule. So, I think you go into these last two games pretty much healthy and with two very winnable games. That's really all that matters.
Yes, you're correct. All right, let's go to I-95, somewhere between Jacksonville and Charleston. Our special guest from the Citadel class of 1994 is ready to join us. Michael Flintom is on with us now. Michael, we know you're a busy guy. We appreciate you taking a moment to join us. You were in Oxford this past weekend. Welcome into the show, you world traveler, you.
No, man. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm at Bucky's, one of my favorite places to stop. Yeah, right here in Brunswick.
All right. We'll get you a pecan log when we get done here if you haven't got one already.
Oh, yeah. Pecan log and a brisket sandwich.
We're going to talk about a little bit of your playing time. We also want to get you to talk about that upcoming golf tournament. I know you're on a limited time schedule, so please don't let us keep you any more than we need to. But first of all, your thoughts on Citadel Football 2025 and what you saw in Oxford this weekend.
Well, it was a lot of fun, and they didn't make any mistakes. We just couldn't get anything going, and that's kind of what you expected. It was you never know what to expect. Being the Citadel, being where I think we have nine wins against Division I FBS play over the years, and I got to enjoy some of those back in the '90s. Um, but overall, to their credit, nobody got hurt. We're back. We're going to be ready for Wofford, and we're going to finish up East Tennessee State and come away with some positive. We're definitely in the right track, I believe.
All right, Michael. And again, thanks for coming on. Again, not only were you in Oxford this past weekend, but you were there in a special wardrobe. And we were sent this by our producers. Let's go ahead and embarrass you here on national television. There you are on the right. On the right, by the way.
That is me on the right, and Blake Edmonds on the left.
Is this a common wardrobe for you at Citadel football games?
Well, no, it's not. We brought the hair out against VMI in the fourth quarter, the last home game, and we were like, this thing might be good luck. So we brought it down to Oxford, and we shared it with everybody because we weren't having luck with me or somebody else. I think about 15 different people wore the hair this weekend. And the overalls was new, so we had a good time with that, but we were having a little fun.
Well, you and Blake sure represented the Citadel really well this weekend. Michael, just before we get back into 2025 talk, you're, again, a former player. Tell us about your own experience with Charlie Taft in the 1990s.
Well, it was a special time. I played from 90 to 94. So got to be on the I was a freshman when we beat South Carolina. I was a junior when we beat Arkansas, and we finished up the year at #1 in the country. And to be a part of that entire team, Jack Douglas, Everett Sands, Lester Smith, was just was phenomenal, and I was lucky to be part of that era. I was a halfback for a couple of years, and then split time with Damon Boatwright at receiver the last 2 years. So I was a good blocker. So they put me out there. I wasn't the tallest guy in the world, but I could block.
And what are your measurables?
Oh, back in the day when I first came onto the Citadel, I was a 5'6", 150. Now I'm about 5'6", 180.
Okay.
So I did get up to about 168 in my playing days, was as good as I could get.
All right. Well, we appreciate your service to the Citadel and all the great blocks that you had
Thank
in
you,
the day.
sir.
Andrew said he probably remembers you as a beat writer back in the day and all that. All right, Andrew, the Citadel again, 49-0. They fall to the number 6 team last week in the country, Ole Miss, a team marching right to the national championship picture in FBS ranks. So no shame losing there. And as far as I know, Andrew, as far as what Coach Drayton said, I think the Citadel came out of this past weekend healthy at least. And we may have lost Andrew. Is that what you've heard, Thomas?
That's exactly what I heard Andrew say a few moments ago, John. So that's great news for our 2 remaining SoCon games with Wofford, who's won 3 out of their last 4. So we're in I think a 3-way tie with Wofford and East Tennessee State for 4th place. So these next 2 games are huge for us.
Okay. There's Andrew. Sorry about that.
My apologies. Yeah, we got bad internet here. I guess it's too sunny and nice today here in Charleston. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I caught the first part of the question, but didn't get it all. I apologize.
I was just, because I was worried about bringing great guests like Michael on, I wasn't totally paying attention, and so Thomas just slapped my hand because I made a mention that at least the Citadel came out of this game, as far as I know, fairly healthy.
Yeah, they did. And again, that was one of the things that I thought was most important. Come out of this game healthy, pick up your paycheck, and kind of go on about your way. Not that they don't want to play well and they don't want to win. I totally get that. But you also have to be realistic in your expectations. I thought they had a better showing last year against Clemson. I thought the play calling was a little bit more imaginative against Clemson last season. They came out with a couple of trick plays, but Mikey Rose gets us interception. They should have been able to kick a field goal there. They had another little nice drive. I think they missed a 45, 46-yard field goal in the first half as well. There were some opportunities to score, but again, got to give Ole Miss credit that it was very businesslike from their perspective. And when you're going to beat an FBS team, especially an FBS team that's nationally ranked, if you're an FCS school, you got to hope that their mindset is, we can just show up and win today. And that wasn't Ole Miss's mindset. They took care of business. And again, tip your hat, move on to the next game, pick up your check, make sure everybody's healthy, and now you get ready for these last two games. Again, both very winnable games, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything more headline material coming out of this past Saturday's game, it wasn't even the game; it was the marriage proposal that happened out there.
Yeah,
That
and
Kiffin
I thought
photobombed.
Lane Kiffin handled that great too. I mean, for him to walk on in the middle of the field and give the thumbs up, I thought that was great.
He kind of disrespected the Citadel in some ways by doing that in the middle of the game. And then I don't know if you heard what he said going into the locker room at halftime when asked how the first half went. Did y'all hear that?
I did not.
He said, "Oh yeah, I love how Georgia's boat racing Mississippi State because that game was going on at the same time." And then he said, "Oh yeah, this game, yeah, it's great." And that's all he said. So, had the Citadel had heard that clip, I know we would have come roaring back in the second act and kicked their butt, but didn't happen. Didn't happen. We'll get them next time, as I say. All right, you put that one behind it, and you got Wofford ahead. Michael, I'll ask you. Wofford's been a little bit of a pain in the neck here the last few times the Citadel's suited up against those Terriers.
Yeah, I think they hate us more than we hate them,
Yeah.
and they always have. And so they're going to be prepared. They've had a lot of close games they've lost, and they want to beat us as bad as anybody.
Although the Citadel got the big win last year, of course.
That's right.
Andrew, the Terriers have not had the best of seasons. They've got a few wins to their credit, but they're a program still nowhere close to being the power they were under Coach Ayers.
Yeah, agreed. But, as Coach Drayton pointed out, the 5 losses that they have at the FCS level have been by a combined 12 points. 1 or 2 point game against Mercer, 1 or 2 point game against Western Carolina. So this is a team, defensively at least, that's certainly capable of shutting the Citadel's offense down. So the Citadel needs to have a quick start, which they have not been able to do in the last couple of games, and then they need to finish. And that was kind of Coach Drayton's message Monday at the press conference was they got to finish drives. They didn't finish drives against Ole Miss that resulted in points, and that was part of the disappointment. I want to ask Michael a question. Now, were you a part of the monkey suit game? Were you there then, or was that before you got there?
I lost you, Andrew. What'd you say?
I said, were you a part of the Wofford monkeys, the Sean Graves monkey suit?
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely.
What year was that? Because I can't remember what year that was.
That was, I think that was either, I might have been 91, either 90 or 91. Yeah, he was incredible. But yes.
And Thomas and John, do you know what we're talking about?
You've mentioned it before. I barely remember it because I had the military aspect of the Citadel front and center back in those days.
Well, Michael probably tell the story better, but so basically Sean Graves, Charlie Taft recruited Sean Graves, who would have been, let's face it, a fabulous fit in the Bulldogs triple option offense under Charlie Taft. He would have been great, and he'd probably set records like he did at Wofford. But he said he didn't want to wear a monkey suit like the rest of the Citadel cadets, and that's why he didn't go there. And then
that's correct.
To his credit, I got to say, he talked his talk, and then he did walk the walk in that game. I was shocked.
He did. When Wofford was playing, that they were Division II.
Yep.
So that was their big game, was coming down to Charleston to play us. And they did beat us on several occasions in our, good days of football. So Sean was something else.
And he only had one pectoral muscle.
That's right.
Which was very
that's right.
High. But yeah, that kid could flat out play. And that's what kind of started the rivalry. Ton of respect for Coach Ayers up in Wofford, but even more respect for Charlie. I had a great relationship with Charlie when he wasn't yelling at me, which was pretty common. But no, I remember. Yeah, he would. Yeah, one of my favorite moments covering those Charlie Taft teams was I wrote something, and it wasn't that horrible about the defense. Like I can't remember what it was. It was something about the way that they were defending the run or something like that. I can't remember, but it wasn't that big of a deal. It was like 5 paragraphs in a 30-paragraph story. And this was back in the day when the Citadel press conferences, the Charlie Tap press conference was live on the radio and sometimes even on TV. And we had these great Easterby catered luncheons. So that's why everybody would show up, because there was great food there. And then Charlie would sit there and he'd get on the radio. And he's sitting there looking right at me, and he starts talking about the Citadel's defense and how good they were and how the media didn't know what they were talking about, just going on and on. And he's looking right at me, and he's getting madder and madder and madder, red face. And he goes on this 5-minute, tirade, and he doesn't mention me by name, but he mentions members of the media, but he's looking right at me, pointing right at me, and then he gets off the air, and Rob Fowler, who was kind of the color guy back in the day.
That's right.
He goes, a very spirited comment there from Coach Taft. And he's kind of going on, and then they go to commercial. And Charlie sits down, glares at me, and then I go, right, Charlie? And I go, right, Charlie? The effing media. Golly. And he starts cracking up. And he goes, Miller, that's why I can never stay mad at you. You're such a smart aleck. So,
well, if it makes you feel any better, he yelled at all of us just as much or more. So it was the way.
You're part of the team, Andrew.
The other
That's right.
one that I remember, Michael, is when he yelled at Travis Gervais. I got out of practice one time. He's just screaming at Travis Gervais, missing a block on pass protection or whatever. Yeah. And then Travis goes, well, Coach, you don't pass that much, so I really don't have to worry about pass protection.
that sounds like Travis. I love it.
And Charlie lost his mind, and then he kicked me out. And I'm like, I didn't say anything. I didn't know what why are you mad at me? So.
Oh, that's classic Charlie.
Classic. Hey, we got a question in that needs to be answered if possible. And Thomas and I were doing some heavy-duty after-game research Saturday evening, and we kind of have our own take on this question. But the question asked on our Citadel Greyline Facebook page regarding the Ole Miss game, question is, what happened to Barnes as the kicker? Now, Andrew, I'll let you answer that, and then Thomas and I will weigh in.
I don't know if Ben was hurt. I'm going down to practice today. I will find that out. But I know that the longer field goals, they've had Jack Lyle, who's a Lucy Beckham or Wanda? I think he's Lucy Beckham, former kicker. They like him to take the longer field goals. But I don't know. Did he kick the second one? Was his second attempt his or Jack's? I can't remember.
Barnes didn't kick at all.
He didn't kick at all. All right, so he probably was hurt.
No, he didn't kick. He didn't kick at all. And the Citadel had 3 chances to get a score in that game. They went for it on the 4th and 2 and didn't get it. But we had a chance to get, or the Citadel had a chance to get on the scoreboard and failed. So it wasn't a complete butt whooping, but still didn't score. Now, are you ready for the rest of the story?
Yeah.
I'll take that as a yes. So Thomas and I were at the bar/restaurant Saturday night, and a random guy came up to us and told us that Barnes did not kick in the game because he's informed Coach Drayton that he's not going to come back next year as a fifth-year senior, and so therefore Drayton went with this other kicker that missed a couple times. Now, again, you got to consider where this information came. I'm just telling you the what we heard. Is that accurate, what I said, Thomas?
Yeah, John, that's exactly what I heard Saturday night.
And you always got to believe what you hear down at the local watering hole. So take that with you, Andrew.
Okay, well, I will look into that today when I get down to practice. But Jack is a guy, again, a very highly touted kicker coming out of this area. Again, I'm almost sure he played at Lucy Beckham. I saw him play in high school. He was a really good kicker. The Citadel will be just fine with him kicking field goals.
All right. Anything else we need to say about Wofford before we move on to basketball and then this Brigadier golf tournament?
Well, I think that the Citadel got to be prepared again to finish drives with points. You pointed 3 times I had chances to put points on the board against Ole Miss, and they failed to do it. So, again, a point of emphasis this week is going to be finishing drives with points. And
Michael, since you're an expert at blocking, what did you think about the blocking effort?
Well, we probably need to block a little more to get that. But those were some big men out there. But we can handle it against Wofford. We got it.
Sounds good. How are you doing on time there, Sir Michael?
I'm good.
All right.
Traveling with my mother, and she's still shopping in Bucky's.
All right. Well,
There you go.
she's going to
Yeah.
come back with a whole bunch of.
Tell her to pick up some fudge for me, Michael. I love that fudge.
That's good stuff, isn't it, Andrew?
Oh, God. That's crack to a fat man like me.
And they even have a knockoff of South Carolina mustard-based barbecue they sell in there now. So
They do.
Maybe she'll bring you back some of that. All right, Andrew, Citadel basketball. It's been a rough couple of days. They win their first game, but then they get out in front of Boston College last week. Then they lose that one, and then they have, in my opinion, a rough job there in the second half against CSU this week, and now they're sitting at 1-2, I think.
Yeah, they just ran into a really, really hot shooter on Monday. Bryson Blaine is 44 points. That's the most points scored by a college player thus far through this season. So, 8 of 14 from three. I think he was 12 of 20 from the floor overall. I mean, there are not a lot of guys that go out there and shoot 8 of 14 from three when they're just by themselves and nobody's around them. So you got to tip your hat to the guy. He had a great game. Still got up 14. Looked like they were going to run away with the game. Charleston Southern credit. They came back. They fought back behind Blaine's 2 points. Guy almost had a triple-double, 42 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists. You're 2 assists away from a triple-double, which is an incredible accomplishment at the collegiate level. So ran into a hot guy. Again, I think there is a reason to be optimistic about this team. Simeon German played for the first time, 6'10", transfer from USC Aiken. I think he's going to give him an interior presence that they lacked last year. Braxton Williams has come in. I think he's given them some valuable minutes. But it's those core 4 guys that they have returning from last year. Christian Moore, I thought he had a great game, and the new kid, the Gonzalez kid, the freshman from Chicago, I thought he really played well too. So early on, let's not get too excited either up or down. Win or lose. I think this team ceiling is going to be pretty high. They're going to get some wins.
We are looking forward to that. How's your hoop game, Michael?
Not so good. I was a point guard that couldn't make layups.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, we'll work on
Oh,
that.
really? Yeah.
I mean, I will give you credit.
I was an assist guy.
Assist guy, okay. I know you make it to a lot of Citadel football games, if not all of them at home. How's your Citadel basketball attendance?
Yeah, we generally make about 5 or 6. I plan on making more this year. My wife is like, we got to go down there some more. So that's going to be the plan. Yeah, we're going to probably make at least a dozen.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to that. Andrew, what's on tap with that basketball in the next couple of games or so? What do they got?
Well, let's see. Golly, I don't have my schedule in front of me.
Well, that's what Thomas is here for.
I know they play West Georgia on Friday.
Yeah.
And then they play, I can't remember who they play the following week.
North Greenville University early next week.
North Greenville. Okay. I know North Greenville is on there as well. They play Davidson. Is that right? No, Davidson's coming here. That's right, because Boston College. So yeah, I'm covering 8 different sports right now, so it is kind of hard for me to keep up with. I don't have a calendar in front of me.
And you cover those sports well. AP Miller _PNC. And in addition to the actual, I got to give you a credit here, Andrew. In addition to the great X's and O's and game day coverage, you do other great features, including last week on Friday, I think it was. You did a great feature on former Citadel football coach Brent Thompson and what he's doing now. Give us a little sneak peek of that article.
Yeah, he's young out of coaching. Obviously, he didn't renew his contract. He had some offers to go to some other places, including a high school gig up in Maryland. He turned it down. His wife's got a job here, so he wanted to stay in Charleston. So what he did is, right at the end of his coaching career at the Citadel, he invested in this custard franchise business. And he opened up a shop or a store in James Island, and now he's got a second one in West Philly. So he's kind of running those two. He has not ruled out coming back and coaching college football or even high school football. I think he, at his heart, he is a football coach, and that's what he wants to do. So, but yeah, Brent was always treated me nice, always was fair with me, and I hope I was that way with him. But yeah, to see him, kind of landing, not only landing on his feet, but really excelling as an entrepreneur.
And do we know the name of his custard business?
It's frozen custard something, and I can't remember what the first name of it is. And again, you'll have to forgive me. I'm old and I forget.
Well, no, this is a great way for you to get people to go subscribe to the Post and Courier, and they can read all about it. Something I should have done.
Yeah.
Something I should have done. Hey, you mentioned, and somebody did a minute ago, about North Greenville University, and I do believe, Thomas Scruggs, that is a place that Hood Construction's done some work. Is that right?
Yes, sir. We wrapped up a project there. Oh, goodness, last year, John, up at North Greenville. I actually oversaw the completion of that project. So yeah, beautiful building up there. North Greenville is a good client of ours.
All right. So what kind of project did you have up there in Tigerville?
So we had basically a building that included classrooms, a new classroom. It was an existing building that we renovated. Give them a nice, new entry, nice new lobby, brand new exterior finishes. Just, start to finish. You should see the before and after photos. Really nice. Looks like a brand new building. Really, it's been there for quite a while.
All right. Again, Hood Construction doing that. Thomas is busy doing another building right now on the College of Charleston campus. You can go to hoodconstruction.com and see the various projects they've got going on in South Carolina. They also do work in North Carolina and Georgia. Hood Construction, a full-service construction management company with nearly 40 years of serving clients throughout the Carolinas and the Peach State. They take a holistic approach to their clients' business and project objectives in order to find the best value solutions. Hoodconstruction.com, a great presenter of Citadel Gray Line. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning also helps us each and every week. Happy today or you don't pay. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, a Citadel-led company based in Columbia, and they offer full-service plumbing, gas, drain, and sewer service with expert service available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. If you go to franklinplumbing.sc.com, you can go there now and get a $250 off sewer replacement coupon, as we say in the Deep South. Call them, Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, 803-761-0167, 803-761-0167. They do great work. And Michael, I know you live, or you've got at least an 803 telephone number. If you ever need plumbing, Josh Daniels, he can help you out.
Good to know. Yeah, I'm over there in St. Matthews, not too far away.
That's right. Again, they got that number ready for you. Okay, Michael, let's talk a little golf. I know it may be a long way to August, but not really. Tell us what you do each and every year, you and others, to help out the Brigadier Foundation.
Yeah, so this was started by Rod Mosley and his committee 28 years ago. And he really got it off and going, and he did it for 20 years. And then they asked me about 8 years ago to jump in, and those guys were retiring, and so we jumped in 8 years ago, and we have a good committee that runs it, and we've got the Brigadier Foundation a little more involved. They help us out with marketing and registration, but it is still a grassroots effort. And where we raise our money is on class captains. So every class has a captain, or at least we try to have a captain, to raise at least $2,000. And the last year we raised $130,000 on just one course out at Wild Dunes. The other course was closed. So next year the other course will be open, the Harbor and the Links. And we're looking, we're shooting for a goal of about $200,000. And that would be that we've run it every year. We did 130 this year. We actually did 140 the year before because we had two courses, and we're looking to promote it to get class captains and more sponsorship and really take this to the next level.
Yeah, and I actually have been to one of those tournaments in years past. Y'all do a wonderful job, always a fun environment. And Michael, if you're not really into the playing of golf, just come out, if nothing else, to attend the reception and the cool things you do, which I do believe the Citadel Beach House has something to do with that.
That's right. But we have the reception afterwards, and we do sell tickets just to come to the reception. We'll feed you. The coaches come, basketball, baseball. The athletic director, Art Chase, spoke for a long time and took questions. It's just a great event right before the football season, and it's always the third Thursday in August. It's like the hottest day of the year. But so far, we knock on wood, we've been rain free and have a good time. We have the bagpipers out there beforehand, and a lot of good hole-in-one chances to win a truck. It's just a good time. And it sells out, John. Believe it or not, once we open up registration, it sells out in 15 minutes. It is done. If you're not ready at 10 o'clock, come May, usually the end of May is we open it up, you will not get in.
That was my question. When you got that open? And since we all know you, Michael, maybe you're gonna let us slide in there.
You just got to let me know. Just got to let me know.
Just between us gals here,
There
Thomas.
you go.
I know you're a big golfer. Have you participated in this Brigadier fundraiser?
Let's see, John. Yes, it's been several years, but I was able to play in that kickoff tournament one year. Like I said, it's been several years. So
All right.
it was a great time out there, though.
And guys, I love what you're doing for the Brigadier Foundation. Michael, you and the others involved in that. I believe the St. Matthews Calhoun County connection with Blake and Fred also are big parts of that, right?
That's right. We have 7 of us on the committee: Blake, Fred, Kurt Campbell, class of '74, Gus O'Leary, who's class of '91, lives in Charleston. Jay Neal works for Leitner Construction, and then of course Will Culbreth has been he was on the first board and continues to stay on the second board with me. He's instrumental. Such a good guy.
Awesome.
Great committee.
Yeah, well, you have that event in August, and again, for those of us who maybe don't make all these tournaments, there's only a handful you need to know about throughout the year of Citadel World, and this one's a big one there in August. But you also have the baseball tournament, which is about to happen, right?
That's right, and I believe that is handled by the Diamond Dogs that run that tournament.
And that's coming up this homecoming weekend, correct?
I think so. Yeah, I'm not involved with that one, but I've played in it a couple times, and it is an outstanding tournament.
Then you got
Yeah, John, I'm involved with that one. That's this Friday, homecoming weekend out at Charleston National, and that is the Diamond Dogs annual golf tournament, a great fundraiser for the baseball team and the Brigadier Foundation.
I know the Columbia Club has traditionally had a really good tournament. The Greenville
They
Citadel
do.
Club has had a tournament in the springtime each and every year. So we've done a good job throughout South Carolina, maybe even beyond, with some of these golf tournaments that the coaches and more usually show up. But the Brigadier Foundation with that $200,000 goal, strong.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Looking to get more class captains. So if anybody out there is not being reached out by somebody in your class, and please let me know.
So it's November now. You're going to open this up in May, but that's the kind of hard work that can be done between now and May is getting class captains lined up. That's what you're most needing now?
Yes, that's correct.
All right.
It used to be that Colonel Dick would call everybody and put them on the spot.
Okay.
And I'm no Colonel Dick, but I put everybody on the spot.
Well, maybe we can get a little AI. I had Colonel Dick on this show before we lost him, and so somebody can take his voice and do AI, and that put the fear in you.
I'd like that. That's a great idea, John.
Hey, I just found out today the #1 song in country music, digitally at least, is an AI song. Has beat out Ella Langley. So you never know. Maybe
No, you never know.
AI might take over the Citadel football team here pretty soon. But yeah, anyway, that's the Brigadier kickoff. It's going to be August at Wild Dunes, as Michael mentioned. They now have the 2 courses open there at Wild Dunes, so it's going to be a lot of golf.
It'll be a lot of golf and a lot of fun. August the 20th.
Can you guarantee me temperatures in the mid-60s?
I cannot, sir. You're gonna sweat and a lot.
Yeah, last time I played out there, I got nearly eaten alive by a big alligator. So you gotta be on the lookout for that. Andrew, are you a golfer?
No, but the golf courses that I've played on, you would be shocked at.
Okay.
I have a couple of neighbors who are fanatical golfers. You know, the kind of guys who press their clothes the night before they go out on the for the round the next day. And when they find out that I've played Augusta and TPC and some of these courses, you know, number 2 at Pinehurst, they always tell me they want to throw up in their mouths because I shoot about 150.
But you've played Augusta.
I played Augusta and I played Pinehurst number 2, which people don't know that you don't get on that course very often either as well. I want to ask Michael a question. Now, I forget what years it was, but Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, were they around your time? So you and Reggie Moore was wasn't that his name? Reggie Moore was the DB who had to guard those guys in back-to-back games. And I just remember those 2 games and thinking, Randy Moss has no business being in the Southern Conference. I mean, that guy was.
No, he was amazing. And then Terrell Owens in Chattanooga. Got to play against both of those guys.
2 Hall
they
of
were
Famers
something
right there.
And if memory serves me correctly,
Absolutely.
when Terrell Owens played at Chattanooga, the old Chattanooga football field, didn't they have like a corner of the end zone that was like cut off or something weird?
Yeah. So
Andrew might remember that better than me, but it was.
Yeah. So like the visitor side from the press box, it stops at like the 20-yard line. It goes from one end zone to the 20. So I asked the sports information director when I went there for the first time. I was like, "What gives? Why'd you cut it off at the 20?" He goes, "They built it during, I guess, the Depression, and they just ran out of money, and they said, okay, boom, here we go. We're going to stop right here."
Okay.
And they did. And the other thing about that was the SID there. And this was, I was very new to the journalism business. I'd only been in it, I guess, 5-6 years at this point, is when we went. So we finished all of our post-game interviews. We go back up to the press box, and their SID, who again was probably my age now, I'm 61 now, was asking everybody what they wanted to drink, and they were serving mixed drinks in the press box after the game. Probably helped my copy for the next day after that. But yeah, so that's the only place I've ever been where they not just, it wasn't beer and wine, it was liquor. It was, as Coach Drayton would say, there were some liquor drinkers up in the press box that night.
Hey, hopefully the writing was good, as you said. All right, Michael.
I wanted to say this to everybody. Now, if you're homecoming and you got some extra time in the morning, go over to the Yorktown, because the team is having another showdown on the Yorktown wrestling match out there. The first session starts at 10. I think there's one at 1 and one at 4. But yeah, if you want to get there early, man, that'd be great. I went out there last year. It was a great event. And if you're into wrestling, they're going to have some really elite teams out there at the Yorktown.
I'll put that on the calendar. Michael, thank you again for coming on again. Is there a website or something people can go check out the Brigadier Kickoff Golf Tournament?
Not yet. They have they'll post it, probably April or May. Once we'll make a little teaser beforehand, and then we'll open it up.
Need those class captains. I'm going to sign Thomas Scruggs up right now. Class of 95, Thomas Scruggs.
There you go.
With a $250,000 donation. Is that going to work?
That'll work. And if anybody is coming to homecoming, you'll see us. We'll be across from the big bulldog. We'll have a bulldog ice luge over there for anybody that would like to partake in a cold beverage.
And you'll be wearing those overhauls.
I might be. My wife does not like for me to wear them, but I might do it anyway, John.
Hey, you definitely stand out. You definitely stand out. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, there he is from this past weekend, looking good. You and Blake there. Michael, thank you again for coming on, and we appreciate your help with the Brigadier Golf Tournament, and we'll catch up with you down the road, sir.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Y'all take care.
All right, thank you.
See you,
No dog.
Andrew, and Michael, say hello to your mom, and thanks for being a trooper, letting us do this interview from Buc-ee's. Andrew, best of you two this week. Again, his coverage at the Post and Courier, AP Miller _PNC.
Again, looking forward to a really good game on Saturday at Johnson Hagood against Wofford. I think it'll be a It'll be a defensive struggle from looking at the statistics from both teams. So again, Bulldogs got to finish these offensive drives with points. Can't settle for going out there and missing field goals and not picking up first downs on fourth down.
All right. Again, Andrew will be there covering it all. Thank you, sir. And this past weekend, it was the John Rawl Bowl, his alma maters, Citadel and the University of Mississippi. This weekend, it's the Scruggs Bowl with Thomas and his wife, a Wofford alumni. Best of luck in that, Thomas.
Yeah, thanks, John. We've got our 30-year reunion this year, so those festivities kick off tomorrow night. Really looking forward to it.
All right.
And go Dogs.
Is there a bet within the Scruggs household?
No, John, if you'll remember, we lost 15 or 16 years in a row to my wife's alma mater, so we just don't even really discuss the game, pretty much.
Oh, bless her heart. Well, you have a good weekend, and we'll catch up with you next week. Our penultimate show, by the way, next week.
That's right. Have a great one, John.
That means second to last.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. And thank y'all for tuning again. You can catch this show on Facebook, Citadel Grayline. We're also on Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're also in the TuneIn app, Citadel Grayline, Apple iTunes, also there, Apple Podcast. Check it out, y'all. We will see you next week. And thank you for tuning in, Citadel Grayline. Have a great rest of your week.